So this afternoon's top stories. Honorable Eugene Hamilton stages the first of his constituency town hall meetings in Keys Village. St. Lucia reports its first kidnapping attempt for 2015. And 150 people are feared dead after a passenger plane crashes in the French Alps. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, 24th March 2015. I'm Ebony Brandon. Now for a look at the news in detail. Housing and employment were among topics discussed last night when residents of Keys Village met with their parliamentary representative, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, at a town hall meeting at the Keys Community Centre. Minister Hamilton briefed them on his stewardship, addressed challenges and outlined plans for the community. He said one of his top priorities is to find resources to pay redundant sugar workers.
The monies that was promised to them, whatever was promised to them and unpaid, we will have to find the resources to pay to those sugar workers. And there are those whom we will have to include, who themselves may not have had any payment at all.
Last night's meeting is the first in a series of town hall meetings for residents of Constituency 8. Music lovers got a treat on Monday evening as the U.S. Embassy to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean and the OECS hosted a classical music concert by the Sonia Hayes Quartet at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. The group performed pieces by American composers Samuel Barber, Anton Dvorak, George Gershwin, William Grant Still and Dorothy Rudd Moore. The performance was their final stop on a four-nation Eastern Caribbean tour. According to a statement, the U.S. Embassy hosted the series of concerts to underscore the excellence and diversity of American music and promote music as an educational tool. The embassy says it remains committed to supporting development through the arts in St. Kitts and Nevis and in the Eastern Caribbean and looks forward to maintaining its strong support of cultural initiatives in future. The Nevis Historical and Conservation Society NHCS, the Nevis Yacht Club and the Nevis Air and Seaports Authority are collaborating to host the second annual Lionfish Hunt Fete. Planned for Sunday, March 29 at Wally Beach, the event is designed to capture the interests of both locals and visitors. ZIZ News spoke with Executive Director of the NHCS, Evelyn Henville, about the plans.
The preparations are going fine. We are looking at getting all of our local fishermen involved. We're asking persons with boats to come along and participate with us because we need persons with boats who can take people out to find these lionfish in the various places that they're hiding, Monkey Shoals, the Narrows, amongst our moorings. And we are planning with our hotels, hoping our hotels will advertise this to their guests. And so here is something for our visitors in our hotels to come out and do.
Henville described the lionfish as destructive to marine life as it is a major predator. According to Henville, St. Kitts Nevis needs to get on board with other countries' efforts of eradicating the lionfish from nearby waters. She believes that eating the lionfish is the only way to get rid of it and save the ocean. Regionally in St. Lucia, the first attempted kidnapping for the year 2015 has been reported. Police are in search of two men who attempted to abduct a visitor off the streets of Rodney Bay Village. While the victim escaped unharmed, police are concerned about the whereabouts of the would-be kidnappers, who are considered armed and dangerous.
The circumstances surrounding the kidnapping of a South African national. The incident occurred at 10 p.m. on Sunday night near the JQ Rodney Bay Mall. According to sources, the man was headed to his vehicle, which was parked in the mall's parking lot. The men, allegedly clad in balaclavas, brandishing firearms, ordered the foreigner to enter the vehicle and direct them to his home.
In the process, they robbed him of some cash and also his vehicle. The individual was able to escape his captors, and that is when he made the report to the police.
The 29-year-old man seized the window of opportunity after his abduction. The man reportedly jumped out of the moving vehicle driven by one of his captors. The men sped off in the Nissan Note PG 3222. Police say the man, who escaped serious injury, alerted the authorities of his terrifying ordeal.
The police went in search of the vehicle, and that said vehicle was recovered in the Monjiro area, intact. So presently, the matter is under investigations.
The public relations officer at the police department is appealing to the public to adopt several safety measures.
Always be alert and aware of your surroundings. 2, as much as practicable, travel with a companion or group of friends, especially in low-lit areas. 3, consider varying your daily routines and habits. 4, report any suspicious activity to the police. 5, if you are kidnapped, try your best to remain calm and observe details about your captors. For example, their description, their clothing, their scent, their voice, etc.
It was an eventful weekend at Rodney Bay for all the wrong reasons. The upscale strip, which is usually teeming with tourists and nightlife, experienced an influx of criminal activity, from a kidnapping to the discharge of a firearm on Sunday 22nd March at about 4:55 a.m.
Police responded to a report of discharging firearm somewhere in the Rodney Bay nightclub area. The police, upon arrival, had reason to pursue a suspect, and but they were not able to apprehend that suspect. However, in doing a search in the Rodney Bay vicinity, the police was able to recover a .380 pistol.
While no one was hurt, the police department is concerned about the brazen incident. Investigations are ongoing. Jade Brown, HTS News Force.
The death of a 4-month-old baby in Ghana, allegedly due to a wrong vaccination being administered, sparked protests at the Plaisance Health Center on Monday.
We demand justice, no cover-up! We demand justice, no cover-up! We had a healthy baby!
Relatives of 4-month-old baby Kevon Critchlow as they protested at the Plaisance Health Center. Critchlow died last Wednesday after receiving several vaccines from the health center. His mother, Samit Critchlow, spoke to the media.
The nurse wrote down all the vaccines in the clinic card before administering the vaccine. Then she go and take out all of the vaccines and put it there. And there are 2 Critchlows. And she gave my son the vaccine, and then she called for the other Critchlow and she gave him the vaccine. And when I got home, my son was sleeping, and then he woke up. And about after 12, I woke up to nurse him, and I saw that the froth and blood coming through his nose. When I took him to the hospital, they said that he was dead.
The child's grandmother said her dead grandson was given the vaccine meant for his 5-year-old brother.
Kate Critchlow, Kate Critchlow. They both was Kate Critchlow. So she didn't know which one she gave. One was a 5-year and one was 5 months.
Yes, and when we went to ask the nurse if she gave him the right vaccine, they said it was a mistake.
Mrs. Critchlow also accused the staff of the health center of attempting to cover the reason behind her son's death.
The office spoke to the doctor, the medics called me and said, give me the child clinic card, and I saw the Nurse Bissoon that had she go and gave Nurse Bissoon my clinic card. She had a chart to go and write up something, I don't know, but I said, give me my child clinic card. And the medics was still insisting that I gave the midwife, and I took my child clinic card because they were going to cover it up. I would like to have justice for my baby Kevon because he's a very healthy baby.
The postmortem, she said, indicated that her son died from a brain hemorrhage. Reporting for Capital News, I am Wharton.
Internationally, a Germanwings passenger plane en route from Barcelona to Dusseldorf has crashed in the French Alps with 150 people on board. It's believed there are no survivors. France's President François Hollande has described it as a tragedy and pledged to find the causes. The plane was operated by Germanwings, a subsidiary of Germany's national airline Lufthansa. There are reports the plane sent out a distress signal before it went down.
It's a crash that shocked the world. This old footage, shot some time ago, shows the actual aircraft that has come down in France. 150 people were on board today's flight. The French president says all are feared dead.
I have the will to find out if there were no other consequences of the accident that happened at a very difficult area to access. And we will find more in the next hours to come. While waiting, we have to show solidarity, which will be our first sentiment. Thank you.
So what do we know? The Germanwings Airbus took off from Barcelona at 8:55 UK time, heading for Düsseldorf. For a while, the speed and height appear normal. But at 9:30, things change. The figures at the bottom of the screen show the plane began losing height and speed. At some point, the pilot made a distress call. Then it crashed in a remote part of the Alps. That rugged terrain will make rescue difficult.
It's behind us, so we can't see anything. We don't really know exactly where the plane is because the mountain is quite high mountain, and then a deep mountain above. Yeah. So it's complicated to locate the plane, and the area is difficult, the access is difficult.
At the airport in Düsseldorf, where the aircraft should have landed, a comforting arm for relatives, but they now face an agonising wait for details. Experts say the speed that this aircraft came down will be a major worry for airlines and plane makers.
There was something catastrophic. There was quite serious failure. He was at altitude. Evidently something catastrophic happened, and he didn't have the opportunity, the chance to descend to an appropriate level and then attempt a landing at an airport.
An Airbus A320 takes off somewhere in the world every 2 seconds. It's one of the most popular planes in the skies. Until now, the safety record has been excellent, but investigators will start by looking for any common faults that might just appear in other aircraft.
Utah has become the only U.S. state to authorize the use of firing squads for executions if lethal drugs are not available. Linda So reports.
Death by firing squad. Utah's governor has signed a law making it the only state in America to authorize the use of firing squads for executions if lethal drugs are not available. Widespread concerns over the effectiveness of lethal injections prompted lawmakers to pass the legislation. The new law says a firing squad will only be used if the state cannot lawfully obtain lethal drugs before the date set for the procedure. Utah is 3 to 4 years away from its next scheduled execution. The last person to be killed by firing squad in the U.S. was Ronnie Lee Gardner in 2010.
In the weather today, we can expect partly sunny skies in general and mostly fair skies tonight with very little shower activity. Seas slight to moderate with swells of 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. Winds will blow from the east at 10 to 16 miles per hour with lighter spells overnight. Across the eastern Caribbean, the presence of a high-pressure ridge will cause a dry and stable atmosphere to persist across most of the eastern Caribbean over the next 24 hours. Therefore, from Hispaniola southwards to Trinidad and Tobago, skies will be fair to partly cloudy in general with periods of passing showers. The weather's brought us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Thank you so much for joining us this hour. Join us again this evening for these stories and more in detail. I've been your presenter, Ebony Brandon.